Okay, so hi, hello, welcome to the Zoom stream. I nearly cancelled the stream as I've been feeling very tired. I might have that coronavirus, I'm not sure, but really tired. I was sleeping this afternoon, and but I thought let me attempt to do a stream. So it might be not a whole hour, but we'll see. We'll see how we get on. Yeah, we'll see. So welcome anyway. We are here, we are live. So you're still welcome to join before I begin. The Zoom link should be in the description below the video. So you can join, and you're free to mute your camera if you do join Zoom. There's no need to be visible if you choose. So yeah. But you will be live on YouTube. So just a bit of a warning for you. Hi in Zoom.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
Hi. I'm sorry, I haven't joined your sort of Zoom before. Do you just normally take questions, or?
I speak first, and then I open for questions to be asked.
Oh, okay.
I'll just do the introduction, and then you can unmute, and you can then ask questions. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the title of this stream is The Play of Something. So what non-duality is, we'll start with that. So what non-duality is I would describe as a wake up, a celebration of what this is, what this appearance is, what this is. It's a waking up, a celebration of that which is free and not bound in our stories, not bound in our thinking as humans, but just this naked waking up, this naked celebration of this nakedness, of this freedom. Of this mystery, of this unknown, and yet this isness, this aliveness, what is. And it really is simply that. It's that simple. It really is that simple. This celebration of this. But as humans, we've become identified with thinking, with thought, with our ideas. And we believe that our ideas, our thinking is truth. The descriptions of our thinking is truth. We've like held hands with the mind for so long and skipped along with the mind for so long, believing in its stories, its interpretations, its dramas, what it says is happening. And so to hear this message, this celebration of this innocence, this primary experience, what is, it is very liberating. It's very surprising and liberating. Surprising because we've believed the thinking story for so long. So to be pointed back to what actually is happening rather than our thoughts of what's happening can be a bit shocking or surprising. This popping of a balloon. This popping of a dream. This waking up to what is happening. And the interesting thing I feel about this is that you can imagine then that story, that those thoughts, thinking, the story, it's no longer a part of this. Like we have this idea of stillness, of emptiness, and we imagine we can be that as a human. We can be that emptiness, that stillness as a character, as a human. And it'll be the end of humanness, the end of thinking, the end of happening, life happening, and all its myriad of ways it appears and things that seem to happen. We imagine that life is the problem. And if we become empty and still, life stops happening, then there can be peace and freedom. But here it feels even more interesting that life can continue. Life does continue. Form continues. The character continues. Being human continues. And that was never actually the problem. The problem is the taking hold of that life, taking life as personal, and being the one in charge of that, being the one trying to manipulate and trying to control and trying to be someone and owning it and taking it personal to me. Life is as it is. Life is as it is. And there is no control over that. There is no stopping that, controlling or manipulating that. What there is, however, is this revealing, this exploration into this idea of who you are, this idea that you are in relationship with life, that you are an individual as someone in relationship to life, that you have this autonomous control, influence, responsibility. And this is what non-duality is pointing to or describing or exploring. And there are many seeming ways to explore and talk about this and look into this. But this is it. This is it. Everything that seems to be happening is happening here. The only place there is here. So this play of something this play of something happening, this play of form, this play of experience. Is not a thing. It's not as real as we believe it to be. And that is freedom. That is freedom. Not getting out of it, but but like collapsing into it so much that there is just what is, what seems to be happening. The play. Yeah. Okay, so you are free to ask any questions in the chat or on Zoom. Yeah, you can unmute, Paul.
Hi, Kelly. I was just wondering if you had a glimpse before you had a sort of full loss of the self.
Did
Or
I?
loss of
Sorry.
the small self.
Yeah. Did I have a glimpse?
Yeah.
Can I ask you, sorry to step back at you, but can I ask you why, what you kind of want from that, like that question? What are you looking for?
I'm probably trying to. I had a glimpse around Christmas time.
Okay.
And I'm probably trying to gauge when hopefully my small self will dissolve, and I'll be able to see the big non-dual in life sort of thing. I want that dissolving of the ego, and at the moment I'm still in the body, so to speak. The ego hasn't sort of left me. I still feel part of this world, if you will.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel very pleasant.
No, it's no, it isn't very pleasant. I don't think the world is very pleasant at the moment. but the sense of the glimpse I had was absolutely marvelous, fantastic, and it was completely non-dual, and I want that again, if you will.
Yeah. I think it's very understandable to have had that glimpse of freedom, of wholeness, and then to want it, like to feel like to feel that separation, and then feel awful and want to then have that. So what does it feel like to not have that? Like, imagine you could never have that. How would that feel?
Well, I know it's there, Kelly, because the glimpse I had, it was so familiar. It was like home, and I knew that was real. That was the real sort of deal. I mean, everything was just fantastic. It wasn't any no men, no women. I was everyone, and everyone was me, sort of thing, and it was everything was just happening in that moment. And although I did think to myself, well, probably that's the wrong sort of word, but I was quite conscious that, I must remember some of this, but everything was so wonderful that, the wonder of that moment just wiped all of the other wonderful moments out. But, it was absolutely, fantastic. But I just sort of came out of that, and, it left me with not a pace, because that was like heaven. I know we're not, well, this isn't heaven by any means. So where I went when I had the glimpse, I'm not expecting that sense of wonder every moment, but it would be nice, I don't know, to keep some of that for this life. That probably doesn't make any sense at all.
No, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, good.
Well, I don't really know about, mystical experiences and stuff like that. I had a few, but I mean, like what I'm talking about in terms of freedom and peace and this love and wholeness, it really is about this experience. It's not something that's in time or in the past, or it's not somewhere else. It's about right here, right now. That's the only place where there is freedom. So we can have these wonderful things happen and wonderful memories and wonderful experiences, but they aren't permanent. We believe what we're looking for is in something, in a feeling or an experience, and it really isn't. Nothing can happen other than here. And maybe it sounds like, yeah, but this is just quite boring. There's just the room, or just, I'm in town, or I'm in a shop, or I'm in my toilet, or whatever. It's nothing special. But I don't know of any other freedom other than what is happening. I don't know of any equaling freedom than what is happening, because this can't disappear. What is happening, you can't have it and then lose it. So this is the only permanent peace or love or freedom. Experiences of bliss, of joy, of these things move. You can't hold on to them. Whereas this, what's happening, always is. Always is. And so this is the only place where that freedom is. You're able to resonate with that or hear that?
Yeah, I do. But, I have had sort of mystical, I had a sort of near-death experience, a fear-death experience, actually, when I was 16. And that included a life review. But that was like a personal experience, if you will. I did have out-of-body experience as well when I was sort of 4 or 5-year-old. And that was personal also, it was me sort of thing, having the glimpse of Christmas, what I had, was impersonal. It wasn't me. So I was everyone and everyone was me. It was a non-dual, there wasn't any fast or slow, it was just all one happening, with no individual sort of, no individuals there.
Yeah.
So, I obviously took that to be like a non-dual glimpse, but it wasn't permanent, like you said, Kelly. So, that is why I asked the question initially about, did you have a glimpse before you went full non-dual, if you can understand that.
Yeah,
Because this is still a dualistic world, isn't it? Well, the story is a dualistic world we live in.
well, that's not the experience. So right now, you're referring to Christmas time, where this thing happened and you disappeared, and there was just what was happening, and it was free and it wasn't personal. So how's that different to what's happening right now?
Because now I'm me. I'm an individual. I'm not part of anything.
Yeah, but how is that? How do you know that that's true?
Oh, it's just the me telling. I suppose it's the thinking mind telling me that I'm still trapped in. Well, trapped's probably the wrong word, but I'm still in the body mind, if you will.
Yeah, and that feels true.
It doesn't feel very true, but I don't see any way to get out of it yet.
And it feels true that that's who you are.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah. When it feels as if that's true, that's who you are, then it does feel like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, intellectually, I know it's not true.
Yeah, that's so irrelevant. That's totally irrelevant.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want the eye to sort of show itself to me. I know it's there already, but I can't see it yet, if you will.
That feels true, and it feels as if at some point, hopefully, you will see it.
Yeah.
And that feels really true.
Oh yeah. It's the most important thing in this life, in my life.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. It's like a magnet pulling me all the time. I know it's there.
Yeah.
But I've just got to connect or let it connect with itself somehow.
Excuse me.
It's very frustrating, to be honest.
Yeah. But none of that is actually true. But I know it seems to be true. But none of that is actually true. It's not actually a real person. It's not actually a someone. But I know it feels like that. It feels as if those thoughts and feelings are who you are. That's who's speaking. That's who I am. And it feels like that. Yeah. It's such a dream. It's such a I've been hypnotized.
Yeah.
But any of that is true.
Yeah. I want to come out of the trance.
Yeah, but you can't come out of that trance. You can't come out of it. Like the whole thing is a trance. So the one trying to come out of it is the trance. It can't. But the good news is that you who you are isn't that trance. You already are out of it. You're never in it. It's an appearance appearing in you. That's the good news. None of that is true. That position of someone isn't true. It's such a celebration. When I used to hear this from speakers, it was just like such a joy, like, oh, this freedom outside of who I thought I am, this freedom beyond me, beyond everything, already free. It's so beautiful. But yeah, for the one who feels as if that story is actually who they are, it's torture and frustrating and all these things. But there's just a keep listening to this message, keep listening, keep resonating with it. And it just seems to open, this opening. This dropping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Sorry. I was just going to ask, were you a seeker as well, Kelly? Or did it just...
Of course. How can you? Yeah, of course. When that brain begins to develop in such a way where there's more thinking about who you are, then yeah, of course. Then there's this seeking that begins to happen. Because if you are this small, limited thing, this image, this identity, this idea, then it feels restricting and it feels limiting. And you've lost something, you've lost this naked home, you've lost this wholeness. You become something. And so naturally there's this seeking to like find what was lost. Just part of what seems to happen in humans. This development of someone, this development of this idea of being someone. And I think in some way it's natural, like that we have that, because we can communicate, so we need to have that in a way. You know, I am here, you are there, this is my home, your home, my food, we need to have that. Then this extra bit comes on that owns that and thinks it's real. I am actually this someone. And so with that comes that seeking to end that feeling. Just to find home. And we think it's in something, an object, person, being successful, whatever it is. We think it's in something, an experience, a feeling, a situation, a thought, an idea, and it's not, it's right here. This natural reality, this naturalness. It was never about a someone. It was never true. And so you're right, there is this magnetic drawing to this drawing back to who you are, to what this naturally is, before this dream began. Okay, Paul, thank you for speaking and yeah. If you'd like to mute now, then you can unmute if you want to speak in the next half hour or so. You can join back in and speak. So feel free to ask any questions in the chat, or you can still join Zoom. If there's no more questions, so you're free to just if you want to keep talking, you can, unless somebody else wants to join in.
What would you do you have any advice to sort of keep thinking about one thing, or well, not think, I suppose, but keep on like dropping the thoughts and stuff like that? Would you, if you were in my shoes, sort of thing, would you try and quieten the body, mind, and the eye come through?
Yeah, you can do lots of things. You can do. You can meditate to be more comfortable with the thoughts. You can do different yoga practices, massage. Lots you can do to relax the body, relax the thinking. Yeah, can be helpful. Yeah, there's lots you can do to help relax the body, relax the mind. Speak to a counsellor, play a sport, go swimming. And then keep hearing non-duality, keep hearing this pointing. This is it.
Can you remember what sort of triggered your shift?
No. No. All I can say is I wanted something else than what was happening. What was happening wasn't enough. What was happening was uncomfortable. I wanted something else. Ideas of enlightenment, ideas of waking up by anything but this. Than what was happening, something else. So the seeking to get out of this.
Yeah, I'm just just frustrated with having that vivid glimpse. You know, I mean, I couldn't help but sort of tell my friends and anyone who listened to me about the truth, what I'd seen, and how it is all an illusion. You know, the world is an illusion and everything. And then I just seemed to sort of get pulled back into the story. It's crazy.
Yeah. But that isn't necessarily a negative thing. Like, yeah, like, what happens is what happens, and there's always learning that happens. There's always a seeing something, a learning that happens. So whatever pulled you back in, let's say, using that phrase, maybe there's something in that needs to be seen through. Something that you still believe in and hold on to be true. The world, for example, believing it to be true.
Yeah. I mean, all the, I know it's all a story, but the in the story, the people who control the world and the different nations and everything, and the terrible things that they do, that keeps, I think that's the thing that sort of attracted my interest and keeps me here, really. You know, so many bad things happening by, a minority of people, that the realism is, very much a pull for me anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that is one of the major draws for my attention, really.
Yeah. Well, it's worth looking into what in that attracts you. What part of that attracts you? Is it being the hero and going out and fighting the system, and you're gonna right the wrongs? Is it what in it that attracts you? It's worthwhile looking at that, and maybe looking at why it's so interesting, why it's so important over freedom, over peace. Like what in that is reflected.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't draw me in that, I'm not attracted to it in that sense, Kelly. I'm appalled by the things that's happening, and the misery and suffering that these creatures are causing, humanity, if you will. But the interest in that, is the pull sort of thing.
Yeah.
Not an attraction, but it is sort of attracting my attention.
Yeah. I think that for that, like at some point after being drawn into it again and again and again, there's a seeing how much suffering it causes, and at some point there'll be a not being drawn into it. But it has to be that drawn into it to learn that. So there's an attraction to it for a while, and then you realize, oh, this is really suffering and making me unhappy, and it'll be dropped. And then again, you'll be drawn to it again. And then at some point that's going to break, and there'll be a seeing what's happening in that. So we hear these stories of people waking up just like that, and it's just gone and it's shifted. But I feel like probably for most people, it won't be like that. It will be this gradual, like seeing all of your stuff, seeing all of these conditionings, all these things that you've attached to, identified with, and a slow detangling of them, a slow seeing through them, one by one, could be a million, a billion, but one by one, there's a seeing through all these attachments we have, illusions we're addicted to or attached to or believe in. But yeah, I feel like suffering usually is that thing that that breaks it. If there's enough suffering through it, eventually there'll be a stopping of that. Like you put your hand in the fire so many times, and eventually there's a learning, oh, that's going to hurt. I won't, and you just don't do it anymore. It just stops happening.
Yeah.
But you can't control that. It's just what's happening until it's not happening anymore.
Yeah, no, that really resonates with me, actually. Yeah, it really does. Yeah, I've never sort of linked the suffering side of it, to be honest, Kelly, before with that, but that is exactly what I'm doing to myself, you know. Yeah, it is a form of suffering. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Paul, for sharing what you shared with us.
Well, thanks for listening, Kelly. And I've seen your show with Walter Driscoll. I didn't say a day or two ago, and I thought you were absolutely fantastic.
Oh.
No, I thought it was great, and I just sort of did a little search, and you popped up. So it was
thank you. Yeah.
Probably synchronicity kicking in, but no, thanks very much for your time.
All right. Well, thank you. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
So any more last minute questions before we close the stream?
No.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and for Paul for sharing. I shall see you next time. Lots of love. Bye.